Welcome to the new series of Talking Hair Loss. We've got 12 people, 12 haircuts, and 12 incredible chats about hair loss. Honest conversations in the barber chair about hair loss, thinning, and receding, with a little bit of advice from me along the way. With new episodes coming every 2 weeks, this is the second series of Talking Hair Loss. And this series is made possible by our sponsor, Manual. Right guys, welcome back to the Regal Gentleman Studio, and welcome back to Talking Hair Loss. Now today we've got Pip in the chair. How you doing, bud?
Yeah, not too bad. Yourself?
Good, good. I'm very well, thanks, man. Very well.
Good.
So, how can I help you today?
Well, as you can tell, I'm sort of losing my hair at the back and more recently at the front as well, receding there. So, not really sure what to do with it. I've not really had a chance to try too much. So, yeah, just sort of whatever.
So, what would be the main goal from the haircut today for you?
Well, since losing my hair when I was 18 is when I started actually losing my hair at a more noticeable rate. Yeah. I think it had kind of started to go maybe back when I was about 16, but very, very tiny amounts. And then I thought it kind of came back a bit, but I do wonder if it was just the haircut that kind of helped hide a little bit of it. And so, yeah, it's just kind of, as it's got worse, I'm just kind of looking for something. I don't think I can really hide it too much. So just looking for a haircut that would maybe just help me feel a bit more comfortable with it. As it knocked my confidence quite a lot, losing it. And it's just kind of being more rapid in the last sort of year or so.
Yeah, okay. I think we're at that stage where unfortunately there's nothing I can do to cover it.
Yeah.
The one thing we can do though, the reason it looks so severe is because of the sides and the back being so dark. Because you're going through that stage of the dying phase essentially of the hair follicle. It gets lighter.
Yeah.
So as you can see, it's very blonde and very dark blonde, should we say, on the sides. You know what I mean?
For sure, yeah.
The thing that would really benefit you is if we cut the top shorter and just took as much of the sides away as possible.
Yeah,
I know it sounds a bit crazy.
I did wonder about, because I actually shaved it completely to skin all the way.
Oh, wow.
I can't remember how many months ago, maybe 5 or 6 months ago, I think.
Okay.
And I've not had a haircut since, so that's why it's obviously
just all grown out.
Super thick on the sides here and on the back, and obviously it's not really doing too much on the.
Yeah, it almost stops growing in a way as well.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
And I don't think it helps with obviously where the hair loss is now thick, the back and side. They're so thick.
Yeah.
The back and sides. I mean, if you were ever considering doing something like a transplant or something, got a cracking donor really. You really have, you know what I mean? So you can see that wouldn't be an issue at all. From what I can see, I'm not a doctor, but from what I can see, I think it'll be all right.
Yeah.
I think the main thing we want to do really is just keep it short. Yeah. It's the best thing we can do is keep it short. It becomes less noticeable the shorter it goes.
Yeah, for sure. Right?
It's because of where you've got like scalp exposure here, and then you've got like no scalp exposure at all here. That's what becomes really noticeable. But the shorter we go on the back and sides, the lighter your hair will go.
Great.
It always seems to look darker.
Yeah,
when it's
longer,
for sure. You know? So I think if we just go as tight as we can on the back and sides,
great.
We'll still try and work with the face shape though. That's one key thing you want to do.
Yeah.
It does become very hard when you go short because it's hard to create a face shape because you can see every single shape here. As you can see when you've got that recession point through here, you see the concave at the sides.
Yeah.
But I think if we did something nice and high and tight, I think that would work quite well. I wouldn't necessarily recommend a high and tight skin fade though, because that just will concave the head too much. Do you have any preference on how short you want to go?
No, honestly,
I
think
a 1.5 would be good, if you don't mind. If we start with that. We can always start with that, right? But it is quite short. But I feel like if we went down to skin or something, if we go too high on the skin fade, we expose the head shape. Nobody's got a good head shape. Right. No one, right? Now, if you shave somebody's head, you see the lumps and bumps, right?
Yeah,
that's what you see.
For sure, yeah.
We try and cover them lumps and bumps. That's what we try and do. By going to a 1.5, it allows me to work up and off the head quite high. And then I've got an area of blending in which isn't as harsh underneath. So then I can control the shape that we blend it into. And then with the top, we can just cut that down nice and short on the top. We'll scissor it, right? And then we'll take your fringe nice and short. Okay, great. So we'll shape your hairline. And that will hopefully give you a bit more of a shape to the haircut as well.
Great, sounds good.
I think it will look really good. I think you'll be surprised how good this will look.
All right,
Pip? Yeah, awesome, man. Cool. All right, Pip. Well, let's give this a shampoo and condition, mate. So thank you to the sponsor of this video and to the series, Manual. And obviously a massive thank you to you. You know, your subscribing, your likes, your amazing comments, and just the full support of Series 1, Talking Hair Loss, has allowed us to create Series 2 of Talking Hair Loss. And thank you to Manual again for helping us bring a taboo subject to the mainstream and letting everyone talk about it and feel good about themselves. So for those of you who don't know already, Manual are a British company dedicated to becoming the destination for men's health. Manual offer tailored and medically approved treatments for a variety of issues specifically for men's health. and it's the hair loss treatments we're talking about today. The best thing about it all, it's all online. You visit the website, answer a questionnaire about your medical history, and receive a treatment recommendation. Your information goes to a specialist doctor on the platform, and from there, you're consulted on a specific treatment plan for your case. You receive the products at home on a recurring basis with a medical follow-up throughout. As you know, we always recommend manual to you guys, but I also recommend manual to my clients in the studio. Now we've actually got some on the shelf, so come and have a little look what we've got. So we've got the power shampoo, which I use on anybody who during the consultation tells me they're having some sort of hair loss problem. I will use this on them as well. We've got the all-in-one capsule too, which has got the minoxidil, 2.5 milligrams, plus finasteride, 1 milligram as well. We've got the hair vitamins, which I personally use myself. They strengthen, they help fortify the hair, and again, as you can see, they contain biotin and collagen. Very similar to what the shampoo also contains with the biotin too, a very active ingredient for helping with hair loss. Then we've got the 10% minoxidil for topical use too. And also for season 2, anyone who comes onto the channel will also get these courtesy of Manual free of charge as well. And Manual have also been kind enough to offer you a discount to celebrate the series on the channel. Code's on the screen now, but it's also in the description in case you miss it. And the link to follow is also in the description. Click that to find out more about Manual and also the hair loss treatments. And thanks again to Manual for bringing a second series of Talking Hair Loss to the channel. Now, back to the video. Giving Pip a shampoo and a condition, all right? Again, I do this, I know we're going quite short, and it might seem pointless to some people, but I do that purely to feel for any proper lumps and bumps in the back of it, because it's just a little bit less awkward than me going, hi Pip, can I do this to you? You know what I mean? So yeah. I don't generally just use the shampoo and condition for that, right? Because I know we're using clippers, so I'm gonna dry it off. I'm gonna focus on getting that back and sides done first. So I'm gonna go straight in with a 1.5, up and off the head. I'm gonna use the head shape to allow this to blend in, right? Now that's the main thing, because I wanna get rid of as much of this length in one go, because I wanna keep the color the same, the hair texture. So if I go shorter, and I fade this down low, you're gonna change the contrast of the color of the hair. I don't wanna do that. I wanna try and get that contrast the same as the top to give Pip that more balanced finish, all right? So I'm gonna start by just blasting this off. There we go. So 16, Pip?
Yeah, 16 when like,
that, man.
Yeah, when it started going, but like I say, it was really gradual, and I was also like living quite unhealthy at the time, and so it's kind of hard to know whether it actually was
a contribution to the diet as well.
Yeah, and I was smoking quite a lot as well, so it was like, just not really great.
Just being
not
16,
a great time. Yeah, exactly. So I think, and it was like my hair felt like super wispy and like straw. And when I started to get like live a little bit healthier and a better lifestyle, my hair got way healthier again, and that's when I felt like it kind of came back. Yeah, 18 onwards basically. I look back now on photos when I was 18, kind of see that like it was going at the back, and then it's kind of just got worse from there.
From that point onwards, yeah. It's very young, 16 though, isn't it? It's quite a young age. And you said like your lifestyle wasn't great, because they do say, I mean, when we had one of the guys in from Manual, we were talking about like contributions to hair loss, and they did mention smoking could be one of them, you know. Yeah. Whether that was a massive contribution, you probably, again, like we say, we'll never really know, will we? You know. But
to be fair, like it runs in my family quite heavily on my dad's side. Yeah. Right. My dad's balding in exactly the same areas as me. Is he? Yeah. And my granddad, my dad's dad, like everyone.
That screams genetics, then, doesn't it? Really, as well. Yeah. I mean, it could be. Maybe the acceleration of the hair loss could have been down to lifestyle potentially. Yeah. But did you find that, like, you know, when you started noticing, I remember you said at the start that you noticed that it didn't seem to go as quickly, and then it felt like it came back. Was that, when was that, like 18, was it, or something like that?
Yeah, 18, like, so 16, 17, it kind of went, and then kind of felt like it started to come back a bit, and then, 18, it kind of probably stabilised a little bit. Right. And then 19 to now, it's been like quite a rapid decline.
How old are you now, if you don't mind me asking, Bill?
23.
23, okay.
But more, like, even more rapid in the last year.
Okay.
Like 22 to now, sort of, really fast.
It might sound like a silly question, but how does it make you feel?
It was definitely a hit to my confidence.
Yeah.
I didn't really think of myself as having much like attachment to my hair or really caring. Like, I wasn't the sort of person that styled my hair regularly. Yeah. I used to get, a skin fade and it was longer on the top, but it often just sort of just did what it wanted on the top because I couldn't be bothered to style it. So I didn't feel like I really cared about it, but
Yeah.
I think there was a couple of moments where I just saw some photos of it from the back and I was like, oh, is that what I look like? Like,
Yeah.
I hate that.
The different angles, isn't it? That gets a lot of people.
And I think I was in denial for a long time. Like, I had a barber when I was 18 or 19 who actually mentioned it to me. He was like, oh mate, like, have you thought about any sort of treatments or anything? And I was like, oh no, like, I don't need that. It's, you know, that's for bald people, something. And I was just completely in denial, basically, just thinking like, if it stayed like that at that moment, I was like, oh, it's fine. Like, it's a tiny little bit of the crown, but you can't really tell because it's my crown, obviously. And so I just total denial about it. But then, I
think so many people resonate with that, though. I really do. I feel like a lot of people do. And when we say in denial, we don't mean like a negative way. It's just that I think a lot of people are in denial about hair loss, you know. And then when it gets to a certain point, that's when they try and change it.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time it's about that prevention over cure, you know. And like, I think a lot of people, especially guys, they say they're not bothered about it. But I beg to differ on that because the amount of people I speak to on a daily basis who are bothered about it, but then haven't been, if you get what I mean. Like they're more so bothered when it starts happening to them, you know. Or
definitely.
Like you say, you see a photograph or someone points something out to you, and then you become bothered. Yeah. And it is hard to fix when it's broken, you know. It really is. It's especially if you get to a certain point, it's extremely hard. Have you tried any interventions? Have you tried any of the medication or?
I tried minoxidil at one point, but I'm currently in the process of getting an ADHD diagnosis and remembering every morning to do it, and then every evening. It was just so much for me. I just couldn't.
Bit overwhelming kind of thing, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And I just couldn't stay on top of it. Like, I'd remember one day, maybe 2 days in a row, and then, you know, I'd have a late night at work or whatever and just not have a chance to do it.
Yeah,
and just sort of, I gave up because I was like, I
do
just
it every day. Yeah. Well, again, if that doesn't work for yourself, you know what I mean. Especially if you're going through like you said, an ADHD diagnosis, like that can be one of the symptoms of ADHD, can't it? So,
yeah, for sure.
Oh wow.
But it's that was topical, not oral, which I have wanted to try, but it's the money at the moment. It's just not really happening. So
yeah, fair play. Yeah, no, I get that, man. That's the thing. It's not always doable as a financial as well. You know, it's not a cheap thing to do.
No, for sure.
And that's why a lot of people do kind of get put off by it as well. They're a bit like, oh god, like that's going to cost me a lot of money each month or whatever. And it makes sense. It's not easy at the moment. Like you know, I think across the globe, mate, I think people are struggling somewhat financially, you know, as well. So
for sure.
Everybody's felt the hit, you know. I mean, I've got some clients who are quite wealthy and they've felt the hit, you know what I mean? Like, and
definitely.
It is a bit like that. So yeah, I guess if it doesn't really work financially, it's not an easy thing to do, is it? So, I was going to say, the only thing you probably would benefit from in terms of everything that you've said is the tablet. If you get used to doing that and you do want to try it, and let's just say circumstances change, and you know what I mean, like say you become a place where like you maybe financially it works for you.
Yeah, for sure.
You might find that a bit easier. You know what I mean to do, which I just do think at the stage you're at though, because you can see. I don't know if you can see this on camera because this is really really good to see actually. So on the back of the head here, you've got very very white hairs, and you can see the dots of where the follicle is. So you've still got a follicle there. It's just obviously in that stage of its dying. I think if you were to go on the medication, you would see an incredible result, especially through this mid bit here. The hairline's the hardest one to save.
Right.
Always has been, always will be.
For sure, yeah.
But the crown, the results on the crown are so much higher that towards the front it's a little bit less. But I think if you fill this bit up here, we can, your hairline's gonna look so different today because I'm gonna create it for you. So if you were to cover this bit up here, that would help. So if it does become financially stable and it becomes easier to do, I think you get some credible results, you know. I don't think all is lost right now, you know what I mean? I feel like you have got that ability to bring it back, which would be awesome if you could, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
But I just thought I wanted to let you know that you're not, it isn't fully gone, like it's not, you know.
Right.
Some people might think when you walk in, your hair's big on the sides and not much on the top. Wait until you see the difference when it's cut. It won't look as harsh at all.
Mate, no one's seen the top of my head in months and months. I live under a hat, like literally. Yeah. My girlfriend would say, like, I have so many caps. I just fit them into every outfit. My worst nightmare is like a formal event where you can't wear a hat.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, there's I've done a couple of things lately on some clients who have got a little bit of hair loss where they've had to go to events with not being able to wear a hat, and they've all said like they're dreading it, you know, because it's like a safety net, it's like a blanket, isn't it? Almost that you can cover it yourself, and no one will know then.
Yeah.
What is it about the hair loss for you that makes you lose your confidence?
I have no idea. Like there was something, I think. It sounds really weird to say out loud, but like running my hand through my hair was such a, I don't know, just something that I did all the time.
Yeah.
And it felt comfortable. And when I started like running my hand through my hair, and it felt like, oh, I can literally feel where I can't really run my hand through my hair anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was tough. And to be honest, that was partly why I didn't really enjoy having it fully shaved bare. Like it just was like, it was a bit of a drastic measure. Like I did have hair at the time.
Yeah, that's an all or nothing that one, mate. Yeah, I tell you.
But yeah, something about.
Yeah, I can imagine like that feel, like I know what you mean. There's such a sensory element to it, isn't there? You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, I can understand how that must feel. I can kind of relate a little bit to that. Yeah. And what do you think would build your confidence back up then?
I think part of it would be like fully accepting it, because part of me maybe feels like I haven't fully accepted it yet, or I don't know. Yeah, I think I'm quite a jokey sort of person, a banterous person, and so
I kind of got that vibe from you.
I'll like rip my mates up and like have a laugh with them, but often it ends up falling on my hair, like always.
Yeah.
Like they'll like pull my cap off as a joke or whatever, and it is funny, and I'm not like saying that it really hurts me, but there's part of it that's like, that's rough.
Yeah, no, of course. No one wants to be the butt of the joke, do you?
Yeah,
you know, especially when it's,
exactly,
no, of course, yeah.
Yeah, basically getting my confidence back would just look like liking my haircut as it is, like shorter. For me, I loved my haircut when I never had it long. It was just longer on the top, and I loved how it looked, and I felt confident in that haircut. Yeah. And I had it for years. And so when I couldn't have that anymore, that was like probably the main confidence knot, really. Yeah, when you had to switch up the hairstyle because of it. Yeah. Well, I hope today this haircut gives you that little bit of confidence, because you know, obviously, like, you know, we both said at the start, we're at that point now where we can't use a haircut to cover it, you know. But hopefully, if you like the style that we cut it in today with the short sides, I know it might seem like a really basic thing, but I'm putting a lot of emphasis on creating the face shape as well for you. So, like I said, straight with that 1.5, straight up. You see the difference in the colour blend, how less it looks, you know? Yeah. And it's only subtle, but when you compare it to it's very hard to notice when you're in it, but when you see a before and after shot, you're like, wow, yeah, that does look different actually. Any lights in any hairdressers you go to don't help, because they're directly above you, right? Yeah. But if I promise you in a minute, when you stand up and you haven't got direct light above you, it will look so much more balanced. I didn't want to put a fade in there, if that makes sense. I didn't want to put an obvious fade. I just wanted to try and make a seamless blend from the length on the top into the back and sides. The minute you start putting fades and you see darker patches, like it's close to here, which I'm going to go over, but if I'd have put anything like a 0.5 or a half, see that dark ring? Yeah. It's very subtle when you got a 1.5, very subtle. If I put skin on that would look like scalp, dark hair, skin. I did exactly that at one point. Yeah. Before I shaved it completely off, I had a skin fade, and then I can't remember what length it was on the top, but it was short on the top, and it was like, there's like a ring around my head. That's it. It's actually worse. Exactly. And I think when you were saying as well, you know, we don't want to draw attention to anything here. That's not the point of the job. That's not the point of the cut. The point of this is to just have a short haircut that suits you. Not something you're trying to show off or anything like that, just something that works for you and makes you feel confident, right? So I think if we go for something that is a bit more all over, you'll find that it should work really, really well. Now, I can take some off the top here. I'm just going to scissor cut it. The reason I'm scissor cutting it, because if I start putting guards over it, so the sections become millimeters, whereas I'm creating a longer section on the top here. So this allows me to keep a bit more hair, but it's still going to be short, obviously, because I'm doing very short sections, but I can control where the length is left and the weight is left. So these little bits here, I then can control. If I put a guard over it, I'm at the mercy of it being cut all to one length, where I can leave a few little bits longer, just to try and you know, place not like a comb over or cover up anything, just utilise what we can to maintain some sort of fullness in the haircut, you know. So did you ever speak to your mates about it?
Did you ever say about like not necessarily how you're feeling about it, but you know, did you ever say anything like, is hair loss a conversation within your friendship group or your family or anything like that at all?
No, not really. I think it's a bit of a joke within my family that, like, I was, I'm not the oldest, I have a half brother, but I was my dad's first son, and so I was like, I was bound to get it, basically. I am, but
Favourite, of course.
but they were like, my dad's always said to me, he was like, yeah, you were always going to get the bad hair. Like, it was always going to happen. And currently, my younger brothers, my youngest just turned 18, so he's got a full head of hair going super strong, so looks like I was the only one that got it.
Yeah. Well, there's talk that, I mean, I don't think there's anything actually set in stone, but they do say that it can stem from the mother's father's side.
Well, he was bald as well. So.
Yeah.
Mate, everyone was bald.
Well, I mean...
Yeah, my uncle on my mum's side went bald completely bald, like no hair growing really at all.
Wow.
At 15 or something, 16, something like that. So
wow, that
was rough for him.
Yeah. That happened to my granddad as well, though. He had a similar thing. He was... when he was growing up, he grew up in, I think it was like the 50s or the 60s, and he had glasses and curly hair, and he was balding at like 15. So he had a terrible time in school, as you can imagine, because glasses back then were a no-go, you know, and obviously losing your hair as well at that age is also a no-go. So he had a terrible time in school, I can imagine, and people can be really cruel. We see it, don't we? You know what I mean, online and everything else, and it you know, it's like anything that's an easy target for someone to kind of be derogatory about, isn't it? And unfortunately, hair is, you know, it's a touchy subject for a lot of people, but it's the easiest target, isn't it? Because you see it straight away.
Definitely, yeah.
You know, but I think you know, I'm hoping that we can find you a haircut today that you actually feel confident with. You know what I mean? Keeping, because I feel like this might sound really weird, but I feel like you do suit the hair loss, if that makes sense. And I don't normally, you know, it's not something I'm saying like, oh, you look great by losing hair, but what I mean is, I don't think you look out of place with the hair being short in this sort of manner. I wouldn't look and go, oh, you don't suit that. Because you can get people who do lose hair and don't suit it at all. You're thinking, whoa, that looks... When someone takes a hat off, I can sometimes have to do a double take, because I'm like, I was not expecting that at all, based on your age and whatever else. I don't think you having a short haircut with a little bit of hair loss looks out of place, if you get what I mean. So I don't think I wouldn't imagine people, if you did turn up with this haircut or something, people would go, whoa, you know? I feel like it would just be, oh, there's Pip. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I've actually had a similar thing like said to me before, that people are like, well, at least it doesn't look bad.
Yeah, at least you suit it, yeah. Because you can't, you know, it can be a case where some people don't have a head shape for a short haircut. You know, that can be quite common. And that's when I think it does look a little bit out of place on somebody, if they've got like a head shape that doesn't always work, or maybe the cut's not cut in right, you know? See, the thing is with yours, if I'd have took this corner away, if I'd have done this, because it does collapse quite a bit here, but there is a decent enough leaner, stronger finish through the corners here that by working up and off your head, it does actually work for your face shape, you know?
Yeah.
And just by blending that beard down a touch has really kind of worked in. So I think when we do the hairline now, I think it will look completely different.
Yeah, I think there was something for me about the head shape that was a bit of a, like, I think I've got a fairly strong head shape in terms of if I wanted to actually just go bald full time.
100%.
But I liked the fact that my head shape like went flat up and then had like hair on the top. Yeah. And so when I went completely bald, I was just really round. Yeah. And I just felt like an egg.
Yeah, 100%. But if you look at it now, it looks a lot squarer.
Yeah, definitely.
Can you see the difference? Because you've had it shaved off.
Yeah.
You can see the difference this haircut can do.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? To give you that shape that you need.
Yeah.
And what was it about, like, sort of feeling like you could sort of come on our channel and open up? What was it about the sort of, what was it made you think or feel that you want to do that?
I think I'd watched a couple other people that had gone through similar situations, and there was something about that, like knowing that you're not the only person that goes through it. Yeah. And like, of course I'm not the only person that goes through it. You walk by bald people all the time, but or balding people all the time. Like it is natural, it's normal.
Yeah.
But seeing those open conversations, honest conversations, real conversations about how it's affected mental health and just the reality of it is, I just felt like a comfortable space to be. Yeah. And I hadn't really had a haircut, like I said, in a long time, and I'd not really found a barber that's actually understood like what I wanted or what I was going through really, or at least I hadn't had conversations with them about it. So
yeah, I can see where you're coming from there. Do you feel like talking about it will help? Do you think it'll help you feel differently?
Yeah, I think so.
Towards it? Yeah. Because honestly, you'd be so surprised, right? You know, we've had it before. We've had people say, like, I've had messages off some of the guys who've been in on this particular series, and they've messaged me saying, "God, I feel so good about getting that off my chest." Even though it's in the public domains for everyone to see, you feel good getting it off the chest a little bit. You know, it's kind of helped them not accept it, but at least maybe go, Joe, I don't feel too bad with this now.
Yeah,
it's all right. You know what I mean? And then obviously, you know, you realised how many people that you help by talking about it. See it in the comments alone. You know what I mean? How many people like how people can feel proud for somebody else for just opening their mouth really, and especially guys like you were saying before, losing your hair is banter.
Yeah.
To friendship groups, it's not really a talking point. It's not a serious conversation, is it? You know what I mean? Whereas I think it's been quite nice to change that taboo and that stereotype a little bit. You know what I mean?
Definitely. Yeah.
And help people like just feel better about it. You know?
Yeah, and like I say, I've been through a fair few like different haircuts now. I've gone completely bald. I've had just like a buzz cut, like the same, all the way over across everything. And I've done skin fade, and so now we're here.
Now we're here, yeah. A bit more length in it. It is a weird one though, because I feel like it's that moment where you think to yourself like having a skin fade would be the best option, but it is a lot more. There's a lot more to a skin fade, especially when you are losing your hair. That it doesn't. You think it would be the best option, but you'd be so surprised when you do it. You're like, whoa, that just doesn't work. You know?
Yeah.
I'm not saying it necessarily won't because you haven't done it yet, but my initial thought is that darker line of hair around the head there that I just don't know whether it would look good. You know what I mean?
And it definitely did exactly what you said.
Yeah,
like, you can't really see it.
And the problem is, mate, you know, in my job, can't put it back on.
Yeah.
You know?
I wish you could.
Oh, mate, if you could, do you think I wouldn't be standing here, mate? If you could. God, I'd be on a yacht, you know? Right, so let's put this hairline in now. So I'm going to take this back to your hairline, create a hairline for you, okay? Great. And by doing this just takes away that kind of like the kind of wispy ends, but just creates, like you start to see a shadow of where your hairline is, and it just doesn't look as harsh. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it doesn't
definitely.
look as harsh. Again, that's the main purpose of doing this kind of finish on a bit of a session like yours. It's not to give you an illusion that you've got a full hairline. It's to give an illusion, or it's to give you a bit of confidence to know that your hairline's still there. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I think that was the thing. Like before I shaved off my hair completely, basically, it was fairly long on the top. Like it would come down to like the longest point would come down to like the tip of my nose.
Oh right.
Obviously, it was fairly wispy at that point. Like,
yeah.
Obviously, because it's not super strong hair, but it was covering the fact that I was, or at least to where I was standing and how I saw it. It was kind of covering the fact that I was losing it sort of here.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
So when I did it, I was like, oh, I'm losing it there as well. But,
yeah, I know what you mean.
So that was a bit of a hard hit, and I think that's what probably knocked my confidence the most. I was, like I say, somewhat in denial about the back because I don't see it. If I just look at myself in the mirror like right now, I don't see the back of my head unless I look down and purposely look at it.
Look there, yeah, of course, yeah.
But obviously when it's at the front, then it's a different story because it's right in front of you. So
yeah, 100%. I'm also the understanding that if there's hair there, let's try and do something with it. You know what I mean? Let's not just think about shaving it all off because you can still do something with it.
Yeah, I think that was like my extreme reaction to like, oh, I hate it. Like I don't like the fact that I'm losing it.
Yeah, definitely.
So I was just like, well, if I'm losing it, I might as well just get rid of all of it.
Yeah.
But one of the reasons that I thought, well, I might as well shave it was because I got a skin fade, and I put a cap on, and I just looked bald.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
like
exactly,
you couldn't
that's
tell
it.
that I had any hair underneath because there was a hat over it. So it was like,
exactly.
oh well. Then I was like, oh, well, I might as well just go bald. And then I was like, well, now I've got nothing. Like, and when I do take my hat off, I've got nothing. So it was kind of like,
as it is now, I think it looks all right. It doesn't look as harsh. All right, through the back, there's not a lot we can do.
Yeah.
But everywhere else, you're looking straight on at somebody. You're tall as well. You're a bit taller than me. No one's going to be seeing taller than me, which you know, I'm 5'10" in the winter. Yeah. I'm about 5'5" in the summer, just because I wear boots. But you know, what I'm saying is that, you know, you're generally going to be eye level to most people. So again, if we take that into consideration, you're only going to see, like, if you put a hat on and you wear your hat to about here, you look like you just look like you've got a shaved head. Yeah. Do you get what I mean? So there's loads of benefits just to having something like this. And then when you do have your hat off, it looks all right as well. It just, all right, got a bit of thinning through there. There's a lot of people have.
And the thing is as well, like, everyone that I know knows that now. It's not like, you know, maybe back when I was wearing my hat more often before people kind of ever saw it. Yeah. When I took my hat off, they'd be like, "Oh, I didn't realize that you were losing your hair." But now it's like everybody knows because I've shaved it all off. Everyone saw that. Like, exactly. I didn't hide it or anything, so it was like.
But I think just being open about it is a good thing as well. You know, I think it helps a lot. You know. I'll trim this down a bit neater for you, okay?
Nice.
I want to just close your eyes for this bit as well, but. Taking dress sense, everything else, your kind of personality, everything into account. I didn't want to go too like perfectly sharp on the beard. Just I feel like it looks nice, just being a bit very natural looking. Same with the hair, like we were talking about before, going really, really short on the back and sides. I don't think would really help. But if you do something that just takes the effect away, you can see the way everything blends in nicely. Yeah. Right? So nothing is drawing the attention to any one thing on the hair. If we did a fade, it would draw attention to a fade. For sure, If we did a taper, it would draw attention to a taper. Whereas everything just blends nicely down into the beard. So it just looks like it's all one length, a tiny bit more length on top. Yeah. But that was all I was trying to do for it, and just create a head shape that works for it being short.
Honestly, it genuinely looks so good.
Looks good, doesn't it, mate? It looks good.
I am amazed. I'm quite surprised.
I know. Honestly, it's sometimes just a very subtle difference makes the big difference. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was pretty much it.
Great.
You happy? Yeah.
Honestly, yeah. Cool. It's blown me away. Thanks you so much.
Thank you very much, Pip. Well, appreciate you coming on, sharing your story as well. Just before you go though, Manuel, if anyone's coming onto our Talking Hair Loss Season 2, you get a power shampoo that contains biotin and caffeine. So what you'll get is it'll just invigorate the hair growth. So it'll encourage some healthy hair growth, and then some hair vitamins as well, which could really help too.
Thank you so much.
Love to meet you, Pip. Thanks very much, man. Thank you.
Mate. Honestly, guys. Wow.
Good, can you do us a favour if you don't mind? Stand back over here for me a second against this white wall. Yeah. So obviously seeing yourself in the light. Look at it now.
Days. It genuinely looks
so much
better.
It does, doesn't it?
I knew it would, obviously, because like it had grown out, but it looks I feel like I genuinely would actually go outside of that house.
Nice. That's all we could aim for. Yeah, that's all we could aim for.
Honestly, so good.
Yeah, nice one, man. You're very welcome, mate. Thank you, man.
Wow, thank you.
All the best, mate. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. All right. So thanks very much guys for watching the latest episode of Talking Hair Loss. There are more along the side here. Please don't forget to subscribe just so you don't forget or you don't miss one. And also leave us a comment on what you think on the video as well.